Okay, well, kia ora everyone. I am Phil Parker, and that's my dog, Mr. Merlot. He's home today by himself. I'm a former physiotherapist and currently a wine tour guide and wine writer. And I have a specific learning disability related to mathematics known as dyscalculia. It's the maths equivalent of dyslexia. One of the hardest things about it is pronouncing it. Dyscalculia. Yeah, I am dyscalculic, makes it a lot easier. Anyway, SPELD has asked me to say a few words to give you an idea of what it's like going through the education system and life in general, being stressed and confused by numbers. I'm a baby boomer. I was born in 1956 in Palmerston North. That's me there, with my grandfather. I had a fairly happy early childhood as an only child. I was a chatterbox, and at 13 months I was just starting to walk, but I had a large vocabulary. I could say helicopter, pneumonia, and Rarotonga. I was also a mimic of other people and strange noises, earning me the nickname of the sound effects man. I still make funny noises and do character voices and foreign accents, as my long-suffering wife will attest. I had doting grandparents who lived in Wellington. My mum was the traditional stay-at-home 1950s housewife, and we had a very happy relationship with her, with the both of us home until I started primary school. My father was largely absent as a sales rep for Lion Breweries. Ironically, he was a maths wizard and went on to become the company's statistician. I hadn't been well socialised, and on my first day of school, I described the classroom noise as like waves crashing over me. From the beginning, I struggled with reading. It was a huge problem. Even before my battle with arithmetic, I couldn't tell the difference between a lowercase b or a d. At that time, reading was taught using the whole language approach, where we were supposed to recognise a word as an entity and integrate it into a sentence. For me, it was a total failure. But luckily, Mum came to the rescue and taught me phonics, and from there on, my reading improved. In my third year of primary school, I had a huge struggle with arithmetic and to a lesser degree with reading. However, I was lucky that our new class teacher, Sister Annette, picked up on that. There's a cartoon. I thought maybe that was the inspiration for that cartoon. She was none the wiser, and she encouraged me and kept me and other kids after school for extra maths classes. Seeing that I had an interest in words and reading, she encouraged me and supplied me with endless books, including the paperback Student's Digest, a British publication full of ripping yarns of adventure about Egyptian mummy curses, etc., and decent younger chaps. Thriving on her encouragement, I blossomed and ended up coming first in class, the peak of my academic career so far. Unfortunately, the following year, our family moved to Wellington, and the change of schools saw a rapid decline in my maths ability. The tiny Eastbourne school had just 2 classrooms and a roll of about 100 kids. My room was a mixture of new entrants and older grades. The grumpy elderly nun had no time or empathy for slow learners. I was implicitly and explicitly given the message that I was very stupid. I struggled to remember times tables, having limited ability for rote learning. And I remember having to write 7 times 9 equals 63 30 times on the blackboard during class as punishment. Any time I was asked to perform a maths exercise in front of other students, I would get hugely confused, embarrassed, and panicked. Anxiety, embarrassment, and confusion still hit me whenever I have to publicly do mental arithmetic. Just this week, I told some friends of mine that my wife was doing a 50-kilometre fun run. It's actually 5 kilometres. She's good, but not that good. The following year, my mum organised after-school maths tutor, and my grades improved. As you can see, I went from 36 up to 83. We hear Sister Mary Veronica's copper plate handwriting there. Philip is not applying himself, so he should, as he should, with mathematics is particularly weak. And that message was repeated on report cards right throughout my life. Anyway, Yes, once again, Mum paid for extra tuition. Ironically, I did quite well in subjects that had no numbers involved: English, biology, art and French. While not exactly the class clown, I had a reputation for having a good sense of humour, and I bonded with the funny, creative kids who went into sports. By seventh form, physics had morphed into maths. Chemistry required huge amounts of rote learning, and maths itself was a dizzying cluster of calculus, trigonometry and algebra. To this day, I have recurrent nightmares about being ill-prepared on the eve of a calculus exam. So at that point, I simply gave up. My maths textbook stayed unopened in my desk for the entire year, and at that time, my parents' marriage crashed. My headmaster was sympathetic and gave me a literal hall pass if I stayed on till the end of the year and got a high leaving certificate. I had a good social year. I just read books in class and hung out with my mates on the weekend. Oops, got a bit previous there, sorry. At the end of the year, I worked at Mackenzie's variety store. This was terrifying because the tills did not calculate change in those days. I was pulled up by supervisors many times for shortchanging customers quite by accident. Giving change became an anxious, blush-ridden sweat fest. On the strength of my university, oh, here we go, it's Mackenzie's. That is me having a good time. That's my friend Mark, he's my GP now, so there you go. We're drinking Foster's. On the strength of my university entrance grade, I gained a place in the new Auckland School of Physiotherapy. Luckily for me, physio at that stage was a 3-year diploma course with very little maths. Plus, I discovered my love of anatomy and got good grades in my first year. But again, I struggled with rote learning, and during the last 2 years, I just scraped through with C- pass. I qualified as a physio in 1977. So what was going on? It was not until my mid-60s that I learnt about dyscalculia and how to pronounce it, and how it is due to a difference in the wiring of the brain. And it's not just about maths for me. As an adult, I struggle with keeping track of schedules, timetables, calendars, managing deadlines and budgeting time. Also following maps, understanding measurements, remembering directions, and playing games that require counting or calculating scores. I also struggle enormously remembering dance steps. Dancing with Dyscalculics wouldn't fly as a TV show, I think. What have we got here? Oh, here we go. So that's my lovely long-suffering wife. That's full having fun. And I'm very visual, so I use a paper calendar. I can't stand digital calendars, so for me, I use colour, highlighters, etc. So that's my chaotic month of April, so there we go. I have an accountant, but I still make errors paying my credit card and provisional tax on time and calculating GST returns. Having said that, smartphone calculators, Google Maps and computer spreadsheets are helpful for me in dealing with numbers for my business. My wife has become accustomed to me double booking dates and forgetting significant events, like wedding anniversaries, or is that a guy thing? That's me doing some extra work as a Roman noble in a movie, part of my off-season work. And that's a book I write for Random House. It's now out on Amazon. It's a book about New Zealand wine region. So I guess Sister Annette, thanks for the help with the reading there. And I also am a hobby painter, so that's some of my oil paintings. The one in the middle is a bit of a homage to my Catholic upbringing, with a bit of a sly nudge there. Rather than seeing it as a deficit, I believe that neurodivergence and neuroplasticity have gifted me with creative lateral problem-solving skills, verbal abilities and talents in art, music, comedy and journalism. I can happily own not being a dimwit. I don't beat myself up for it. I previously thought I was the only one in the world, but now I've found my tribe, which includes Cher, Mary Tyler Moore, Robbie Williams, Hans Christian Andersen. Looking ahead, it will be great to see more research on dyscalculia and more educators understanding what it is and providing the right kind of support in schools and one-on-one. That's why events like this are so important. And now on to the next generation. This is Sam. I haven't met Sam, but he he was dyscalculic and he got help from SPELD. So I wish Sam all the best for the future. Likewise, I would wish many other kids with dyscalculia would get the acknowledgement and the support that they need. Thank you.